California's privately owned water. Yeah, so I saw this. This was crazy. I don't know really how true this is or not. Look at this.
While 40 million Californians suffer through unprecedented drought, one billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system.
That's
seized
crazy.
in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage.
Wow.
Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state.
Damn.
The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007, they owned 4 San Francisco's worth of farmland. And nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios, their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella.
Not me.
The Wonderful Company. A privately owned company worth at least $5 billion.
I had Fiji water before.
The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion.
That's a lot.
How were they able to take over such a large percentage of what should be a shared public resource? This is The Classroom from More Perfect Union, and today we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress, the daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
Yeah.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company. Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off.
Try Evian that tastes better than Fiji. This is gonna sound fucked. I just drink tap water. I just pull water out the faucet. I drink it. Fuck. I mean, what do you want me to say? Like, I drink it right there, straight up. Ew. Why is it nasty? That's what cavemen used to do. They were fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be. Quit being a pussy. Yeah, stop being such a pussy, man.
One day, they'd work together to take over California's water. The Lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company, and the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers."
That's cute.
In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden."
I don't think so. I feel like Snoop Dogg did a lot for pistachios, because whenever I think of pistachios, I don't even know who they are, but like I think of Snoop Dogg. Remember that interview, that commercial that he did? Yeah, I like they've done maybe they've done maybe the second most for pistachios, but number one would in fact be Snoop Dogg.
My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done.
They hired him?
They started branching into other products. Almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
California's natural water supply is
with
very
that?
inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily.
Wow.
So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts.
That's a good idea.
One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have owned the water.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But there were 2 Californians thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water. Linda and Stewart Resnick. And they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California.
What is this shit? How does this keep happening? Oh my god!
These groups, a mix of private companies and
not a
public
secret.
agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators. The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference.
Wow.
A long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live, access to water supplies before agricultural interests. Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians...
Is California in a drought right now? I don't know. People are half and half on that.
Would have to buy water from private companies because they weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have. Today, 5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly, the meeting changed ownership of the Kern Water Bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors, one of which was Westside Mutual, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods. The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Phillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank.
Huh. See, I'm just going to say it. This is the reason why people like Luigi. This is it. Because how the fuck can you respect a system that is an obvious fucking scam? How dare you? No, I'm being honest. And I'm saying, like, you guys know my take on it. You know my take on it. But what I'm saying is that how the fuck are people not going to come to that conclusion when they see points put together like this? You got to call it bullshit? Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, this is the truth. He's coming around. Yeah, it's too fucking blatant. I guess so. Their secret meeting should have been the grounds for throwing them in jail. This sounds illegal. Well, and that's the reason, is that I think that people have a fundamental, like, this is me pontificating, okay? So, like, what the fuck? But, like, I think that people have an internal sense of justice, and I think that's why almost every religious system has a karma system built into it, right? Whether it's going to hell, whether it's being reincarnated as a bug rather than an eagle, or whether it's, like, dying and you have, like, 70-something virgins if you do the right thing, right? A lot of these, because people have a desire to have the wrongs of the world righted. You see what I'm saying? They do. Is it 72? I don't know. It's a lot. And anyway, because of that, they see something like this happen, and they think, man, we're getting fucking scammed. These people are cheating us. They're taking advantage of us. They're doing something that they shouldn't be doing, and it's at the detriment of everyone. And then they have and also, I think a lot of people, how many of you guys think that this type of relationship should be illegal? This type of collaboration or, let's be real, collusion should be illegal. A lot of people think this. I think that if you were to explain this situation to an average voter, 90 to 80% of them, probably 95, realistically, would say that this is bullshit. So, when Luigi shoots somebody in the back of the fucking head, 2 wrongs don't make a right, but at least they're equal. And that's the reason why people support that shit. That's the reason. Now, it's not a good thing that happens. But you got to understand why it happens. There's a reason why it happens. It's not like these things, this isn't happening in a vacuum. It's an eye for an eye? Yeah. Wow, justifying murder? It's not justifying. See, I am explaining the way that people feel. So if I explain, does the scientist that explains the way that the California fires spread, is he justifying the fires? Is he saying, no, You think he's pro-fire? That's not how it works. Put your brain back in and think about it for a minute. You're explaining cause and effect. Yeah. Did these billionaires kill people in the fires? I don't. I mean, like, I'm sure to some form of abstraction, yes. How much, it's impossible to know.
Boom. One secret meeting, and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money.
So now, okay, that's
the new
convenient.
Ownership, combined with the rules on paper and surplus water, meant that during times of drought, the Resnicks could sell Kern water back to the state water systems.
So they had the public pay for it, and then they gave it to the private company, and then now the public pays for it again from the private company that's using it, because the public paid to make it?
They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice.
Yeah, also, like, we don't need pomegranate juice. We don't need pistachios. You can get rid of that. Nobody needs that shit. Like, you have orange juice, you have lemonade, you have apple juice. Stop it. That's enough. Look at this bottle. This is outrageous. This is ridiculous. What a bunch of bullshit.
They converted the people's water into products many can't afford. And that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties. So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
With philanthropy. The Resnicks donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions.
Smart.
Which help them secure control over water systems.
So they pay the people that make the rules that, okay, that's a good idea. Yeah, it seems, yeah, that's a good idea.
And even get more water and more taxpayer funding.
Yeah.
One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from northern
California. So it's another tax. Okay, and then let me guess, they're gonna have like control over it. They're gonna own it.
California to Central, where the Resnicks farms are.
Right. Okay.
They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation and politicians who support the tunnel project. But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests.
Yeah.
A quick look through the bills she's sponsored shows several which would direct money to Kern-adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things.
Guys, we're not going to be doing this weird-ass Jew shit like, oh, wow, it's Stein. It's a bunch of Jews doing it. There's plenty of greedy fucking black people, white people, Asians, Koreans, like, I guess it's kind of say, Russia. What are we doing about this weird-ass Jew shit? You think that Jews are the only people that are greedy? Everybody's greedy. Quit making it weird. The reason, see, this is the reason why, like, I'm gonna be real, is y'all get fixated on this Jew shit, and now you're thinking about them being bad, while people that are part of other groups are doing the exact same thing to you, but you think they're on your side because their last name doesn't end with Stein. Wake the fuck up.
Directly. When a pesky study about endangering salmon and shad fisheries threatened the Delta Tunnel, Stewart...
I feel like people never even want to talk about this because they're afraid of like being called anti-Semitic or something, or like racist. I just say it. It is so embarrassing. Like, wake the fuck up. They're on each other's side. Like, these people, this rich Jewish person has more in common with the rich Chinese person than they do with you. They got way more in common with each other than they do with you. They don't give a fuck about you. Is class not race? Yes. If every Jewish person stopped existing, these problems would keep happening.
A letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded it to the Obama administration, who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new study. It returned the same results as the first one.
I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed. I don't hate Jews. I'm sorry. Apologize. As a German, I'm sorry. I might have let people down, but it's just not really for me. It's not a viewpoint I have. I never really felt that way. Sorry, it's just not me. Yeah. I can't be perfect, right? I can't always live up to your expectations.
Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system,
get canceled.
with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed.
That's smart. So,
It returned the same results as the first one. Can't buy science. But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed.
And I wonder what those studies say. You know, I've seen certain studies that were put out by toothpaste companies that say that their toothpaste is better than the toothpaste that the other guys make. What are the odds of that?
And where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This is all bad for California, even in a capitalistic sense. Agriculture uses 80% of California's water, but only represents 2% of its GDP. The Resnicks' water monopoly is just one way their quest for wealth hurts the rest of us. They allegedly lobby for increased tensions with Iran to keep embargoes on superior Iranian...
So now we're starting shit for Iran so these fucks can make more money with fake water? How many layers of retardation is this? This is crazy. And here's the other thing. I bet if you take an average person, like maybe especially before their revolution, but probably even now, I bet you got more in fucking common with the guy that's living in Iran, this your same age, relatively same social status. You got more in common with him, and he's got more in common with you than either of y'all do with these fucks. I wish people realized that. It's creative. No, it's just common sense.
Pistachios. Their giant crops lead to monocultures which kill important pollinators. They siphon taxpayer dollars into the company town charter schools they own, set up to train children to work for their farms.
That's smart. Yeah, you get the whole system.
And of course, like any company of this size, they exploit their workers. We need to treat water for what it is. A necessary public resource.
What's the answer? Communism?
Human right.
It's not communism, bro. Like, it's not communism when you want to relegate and make sure that you don't have a massive interest take over the supply of water in an area. That's not communism. Like, you gotta stop. Like, people gotta stop getting with these weird words where it's like everything's either communism or fascism. Nah, bro. There's a lot of shit that's common sense. It's common fucking sense that this is a bad idea. Like, anybody can see it's a bad idea. People have been programmed too much. Now, I think that every once in a while, these guys, more perfect, I think that sometimes they get shit wrong. But I don't think they're getting this wrong. I do. I don't think they're getting this wrong at all.
And something that shouldn't be owned by anyone, and work towards legislative change that stops people like the Resnicks from stealing it.
Yep. Yeah, your Chinese need to stop getting their news from far-right idiots from YouTube at podcasts. Holy shit. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on where they want to get their news and educate themselves on current events.
Incredible mismanagement.
I'll link you guys. Give me a minute. I'll link you guys the tweet. This is just a post, right? Random post. But yeah, there it is. Far right. I mean, I think that you should stop thinking about this. I feel like it would be a good thing, and maybe you guys disagree, but I think it would be a good thing if we spent way less time thinking about where messages came from and we spent more time thinking about what messages are. Because, like, I feel like every time that we have a conversation about a topic, half the people are talking about the messenger and not even the message. They're not even thinking about what the idea is to be discussed. They're talking about, like, how there's, like, oh, well, the person that said it had this controversy that invalidates what they say. Like, it's nuts. It's crazy. Common sense goes far right. Yeah. You say that, but the whole Gamergate is about that, bro? No, it's not. People just didn't want to have games journalists that had close personal relationships with people that they were reviewing their products. I mean, I feel like actually it's pretty close to this. Really, I mean, basically, it's just corruption. That's it. It's just people don't want to have fucking corruption. Like, it's not that complicated.